Okay, guys, this is going to be chapter 9. I will have a couple of places here. Well, at the end, I'm going to do a little me party where I'm going to explain something to you guys that goes along with your companion packet this week, and also with an understanding that I want us all to have common understanding and discussion on. So I will be hopping on with video feed of my face, my lovely face, and you will be able to watch that me party that you will need to watch in order to complete your companion pack this week. It's like a little mini lesson. There's also one other time in the middle of the book that I will be stopping to explain something else as well. Okay? Cool. Chapter 9. On my way to get some lunch, my mind whirled. Man, first the internet is connected and then Dad says it's not? He lied right to my face. And lying only came that easily when you did it a lot. So what else was he lying about? Little Miss Perfect skipped down the hall toward me.
Eli, you want to come with me? See the...
Shut up! First my mom, now my little sister. Was Therese that stupid? How can you be with them? Spend time with them? Her chin rose as her hands went to her hips.
Eli, someone has to take care of them. Mom can't do it all. Lexi and I have to help.
I couldn't do anything but shake my head and walk away. When had the supplements morphed into family members? Even pondering it was distasteful. The supplements were already the cause of too much weirdness in our world, like the short-lived experiment with tea. We weren't really drinking tea. We just called our snack time tea thanks to Therese and her obsession with everything British. In the early years, underground, we snacked on milk and stale cookies, but real milk had died with the cows. The UHT milk lasted a long time, and the powdered milk until year 4. Dad had counted too much on the cows. Mistake number 47. One afternoon, Lexi and Therese sat down with me for our afternoon snack of milk and cookies. Mom usually mixed up the powdered milk and poured a glass for each of us, one of those old-fashioned juice glasses with the little flowers on it. I always guzzled mine down rather than use it to wash down the cookies. For those 2.5 seconds every day, I pretended that I was still in the old world, Els standing by to refill my glass with an icy gallon jug of Land O'Lakes 2%. But that day, Mom wasn't there. Dad was. And the glasses were already filled when he brought the tray to the table. As always, I chugged mine. And it didn't taste like the powdered milk we usually had. It was strange. Not in a bad way, more like in a leftover milk at the bottom of a bowl of Cheerios with sugar. I stuffed a ginger snap in my mouth as Lexi and Therese took their time sipping their milk after every few bites of cookie. Dad didn't join us. He just waited until we were finished, then cleared his throat. Without any great theatrics, he told us the powdered milk was gone and where that day's milk had come from. Mom had an electric breast pump, and, like a cow, the more she pumped, the more she produced. I was 13, and Lexi was 15. Mom and Dad were still getting along. Dad called her his little Holstein because as long as she ate well and got enough rest, she produced a lot of milk. Plenty for the supplements. And for us. I gagged and leaned over toward the floor. What? Lexi looked up at Dad. She looked as repulsed as I felt. Dad shrugged. You're all still young, growing. You need nutrients whenever you can get them. This milk has calories, vitamin D, folic acid. I tuned him out, not wanting to hear some lengthy explanation, like the scientific facts would justify it all, like we were all supposed to say, "Oh, Father, thank you again for saving us." Yeah, right. Okay, I'm going to stop right there, guys, because this is one of those times that I feel like we need to all have some common understanding and kind of discuss what they're talking about here, because this is one of those more mature things, like I was talking about before. So you've got, at this point in time, we see this experiment that the dad has kind of pulled on the kids, right? So they've basically just revealed that the dad fed his children, his 15-year-old, his 13-year-old, and his, I think, 9-year-old maybe, fed them breast milk from their mom. Now, talking about breast milk, I know gets everybody a little creeped out just because it's like, oh, geez, that's like, ooh. And I'm not going to get into that topic or anything like that. I just want us to recognize kind of what is happening here, because this, in our mind right now, societal norms, or whatever, there's a lot of different cultures that breastfeed a lot longer than people in the United States do. So, I mean, this isn't like... It's odd in our normal societal norms that are out there. It may seem odd to some people. I have no opinion one way or the other, really, but I think that the point of what we need to look at here is that the dad is going to some pretty extreme measures right now, and he's experimenting. Again, it goes back to this idea of the food source. It seems like we've had a lot of controversy around their food sources. And personal opinions aside, that's the one thing we always have to remember when we're reading these books, especially when we're reading books with more mature content. There are going to be times that you might read about things that shock you. They may gross you out, or make you feel uncomfortable, or scare you, or make you just feel like not great, and that's kind of a theme, not only like as you get more mature books, but you're also going to see that in things like dystopian novels. Dystopian novels tend to take on some of those more mature and edgier topics. So this is one of my stopping points every year when I teach this book, because I know that upon initial hearing of that first reading, my kids always are like, what are you talking about? Like, that's so gross. That's disgusting. These are some of the things that people have said in the past, and they kind of are just so shocked by what just happened. But I want us to think about that. I want you to think about the characters that S.A. Bodine is creating here. And their actions are going to be motivated by different things. And we're trying to figure out what motivates these characters, right? We may not know. We may think we know what motivates a character, but this is an ever-evolving story. So continue to process that, and really try to work to keep your mindset to be you've got your set of beliefs over here, and those are yours, and you hold on to those and you stay true to those. Then you also have to understand the beliefs and the perspectives of the characters within your book. At this point in time, we're not looking for your opinion on the topic. We're trying to understand their opinion on the topic so that we can see what motivates them and why they are acting the way that they are acting, so that we can understand that character in a complex and deep way. With all that being said, I think that this tells us a lot about the father in this book. He is going to a rather extreme measure right now to find another alternative food source. He referred to his wife as a Holstein, which is another word for a cow that you milk. And I don't know, it seems that seems a little crass. That seems a little like you're using your wife to produce this milk, but there's a lot that goes into that. And I want you to think about the mindset of somebody who's making decisions like that, because I think that it's important to recognize that this dad is driven by things that are different than the societal norms. He is driven more by this instinct to survive. He is driven more by science, it seems, because he does calculations all the time and is very good with things like that. So he seems to be like he's a very logical, very sees everything, doesn't see the shades of gray in things. Because he seems like he has very strict convictions based around this idea of science and survival. And I think that this instance here and this event in our plot really is very telling about the father. So like I said, that was one place that I wanted to make sure that I stopped today to just discuss that with you, because it is one of those, the first times that in this book where your breath just gets taken away. Like, what just happened? And so obviously that's a time that I want to make sure that I stop and talk to you guys. So I'm going to jump back into the book and I'll just read a couple of lines that I already read, and let me know if you have any questions about anything I just said, guys. Okay? Going back to my book. Okay, so we just got done with the part where he said,